It is 8:30, it's time for the weekly meeting of the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors. We have an agenda in front of us. Are there any additions, corrections, deletions?
Have none.
I have an addition.
Okay.
Approval of liquor license for Little Six Bowl and Crossover Restaurant.
Do they need it this week? Because we really,
They
that's
need
an
it-
action item and we
Yeah.
couldn't really,
They need it, well, the 30th, so unless we do it next Tuesday.
no, we can do it next, because that's
Okay,
an action item and we
just got it
really.
yesterday or
Yeah.
email.
Uh,
Okay. Just forgo that.
And I'll second that then.
Okay.
It's moved and second, further discussion, hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Item 2, Tom, you're up.
All right, I'll give you a quick update first. Things keep going along. I think by the end of this week, early next week, the structures at Valent that they're working on should be up out of the ground. They're starting to work on the wall forming right now. They've got their forms set and doing rebar at the Osage wastewater plant, and looks like they'll be doing a partial putting for sometime this week, and then they'll move their forms and start doing the other one. But they're moving along pretty good too. They got more crew out there starting this week, and that'll continue to go. We've had no issues. Material submittals are coming in just fine. There's been no complaints or whatever from the contractors or anything. So far, everything's still going right on track. We've got a progress meeting tomorrow, 9 o'clock, at the pretreatment plant. And then starting 2 weeks from tomorrow, there'll be 9 o'clock at the pretreatment plant and 10:30 at the Osage plant. That'll be bi-weekly until things slow down, if they slow down this winter time. So that is it. You guys got any questions on anything you've seen or heard or?
I'm not boycotting your meetings, but every time you have a meeting, I'm somewhere else.
Whatever, Joel.
I'll make it one of these days.
It's no problem. But it's bi-weekly this
Yep.
week and whenever. Other than that, we do have a change order for today, and this is the second one in a row that's going in a downward direction, which doesn't happen that often. That. And what we got is, first of all, again, this glorious site out there. Had to do soil corrections again because they were digging one of the holes out there and found a bunch of poor soils. So we had to over excavate beyond the original intent of the contract. That was $6,974.10. And then we entertained an idea by one of the contractors in certain portions of the building that are not poor environments. He asked if he could change his conduit from what we had originally specified, which was for highly corrosive areas, to something more typical, the IMC stuff. Our electrical engineer looked at it in those particular areas, said it was okay. So by making that material change, we deducted $8,610 from the project. So the net of this change order is a minus $1,636 on the project costs. Like I said, it's not often they keep going down, but this is the second one we've had that brought the project price down. Attached, you'll find an itemized indication of all that stuff. The original invoices from the subcontractors, and that's how we always do our change orders. So you guys, our contract with the primary contractor limits them on what they can charge for overhead and profit. So if we get a bill, if the subcontractor says it's going to cost $10,000 to do the work, the primary contractor can't add 25% to that. Our rules are in place, and depending on who does the work, they can either only add 5% or 15% if it's their own guys. And then when they give us a deduct, they also have to give us an additional 5% of their markup. So every change order you'll see will always have the subcontractor's information in it, or if the contractor's doing the work, it'll have his hourly breakdown, so we understand. It'll just never be a straight number. It'll always be broken down. Do you guys got any questions on this particular change order?
Well, looks like it's in our favor.
Yep. Don't get too
Yeah, I know.
set on that, because they don't always go that way.
No, I know. We've seen that all along here, haven't we? We got the worst site.
Yeah.
So I guess I'd make a motion to accept change order number 2.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to accept change order number 2. Further discussion.
And then Stan, if I could have you sign and date in the middle of all 3 of these,
Okay.
blue pen.
Blue pen. Blue pen, okay.
And then when I get fully executed from the contractor, I'll get you guys your official copy.
Oaklander.
Aye.
Walk, aye, motion carried. And today is the 24th.
Yep. Thank you very, very much.
You bet.
Any other questions for me then? Okay, so the building colors are pink and purple, we'll be good to go.
Yep.
All right, thanks guys,
Yep.
we'll see you.
Approve the minutes.
Second on it.
The only thing I saw, Lowell, is, and I didn't look at the Osage ones, but on St. Ansgar, you had, where there was competition for the school boards.
I changed that.
Oh, okay, because on the other 2, you didn't say, well, no, I guess what I was
Oh,
getting
one
at.
on Ivan or a different one?
No, on the 2 that didn't have competition, let's see.
Oh, on,
You don't say that we declared them winners. Let me find that.
That'll be a minute, right?
sorry, the 13th.
Yeah. Where is it? Oh, here it is, way in the bottom. Let's see, Matt Hanna received 446 votes scattering. Then you go to Aaron Neely received 273, Broderson 236. Neely was declared the winner. So you don't say that even though Whatchamadinger, Hannah was declared the winner. That's what I'm trying to say is, I think at the very end, I just put the 4 winners, that they were declared winners.
Okay.
You know, that, instead of having 2 declared winners and 2 not.
Well, they didn't have competitions.
No, but still, I mean,
That's why I did it, so, all right, I'll change that.
yeah, I just at the very end, they were declared winners. No big deal, but,
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the minutes with the changes.
okay, where's my sheet? I lost it.
We know that.
I will second. Moved and second, further discussion. Hearing none, Voigtlander.
Aye.
Walk, aye, motion carried. Claims.
Looked through and didn't see anything that jumped out at me, and
I just had to I was almost to the end, and
okay,
when Tom came, give me just 30 seconds here. Okay, did you make the motion already?
Sure, you bet.
Okay, if you made the motion, I will second it. We'll move in second, further discussion. Hearing none, vote please.
Aye.
Walk, aye, motion carried. Let's jump down to item 7. Abatement of taxes, that is on the lot that Kelly, it's not a big,
It's extra $54.
$54.
I'll make a motion to abate the taxes on the lot the county owns of $54.
And I will second that. Moved in second, further discussion. Hearing none, vote Landry.
Aye.
Walk, aye, motion carried. Meetings attended.
Well, last Thursday, we went down to the Heartland Insurance Risk Pool's annual seminar. It was an all-day event, had a lot of nice, or good speakers. One spoke on ethics, one spoke on safety, and then Carl always has his,
Shoot from the hip.
wife, yeah, he had that too, and he had, they talked a little bit about, work comp, just different, you know, what to look out for. And we had another gentleman from Hardin County talked on, he was their IT person, talked on cyber risk, and that'll come up this next month. And at Heartland, as to whether or not the counties want to buy the risk insurance, and I think we've been kicking this around for the last year and a half. And I talked to Barb, and I don't know, there's a lot of exposure out there, and he said the biggest ones are your social media on the internet. You know, not, be careful, he always said what you click on, because once you click on it, it's too late. Anyway, that was, and we went through the whole story of where they called the treasurer's office in another county and asked for, and said that they were so-and-so and they were doing IT and they were doing some work for them and needed their password. And of course, she got, what, need the password up, this is my password, you need everybody else's password. So he could hear her on the phone going around to everybody, what's your password, you need it. And everybody was giving it. And he just, you know, of course, he was laughing about that too. Or probably not a laughing matter
Yeah.
sometimes. But anyway, that was that meeting. Then last night we had economic development up to grain millers. That was, they invited us up, we could use their boardroom, and then they gave us a presentation on how they got started from, what they used to be called, Norwoods.
Norwich, yep.
And all the way through and showed, you know, a lot of their different products that they, you know, and where they go. You'll never see on the ingredients list that this came from grain millers, but it's amazing that how much is actually goes around the United States and Canada. You know, they've got facilities in Canada and Oregon and all over the country, so. Seems like there was one more, but I can't think of it right now, but anyway, that was the main two I guess I had. Oh, yesterday, and this really doesn't, but it's part of my landfill. I ended up in Rockford yesterday. The landfill out there always does, we participated when any old buildings are taken down. You know, we have a $300 credit, not a lot of money, but to the cities who pay somebody to take down a building. Down in Rockford, they've got a building on Main Street that has to go because the roof caved in and it went all the way to the basement, and it's wide open. It was so bad, they couldn't even get in to test for asbestos, so they're taking it down. ACM, asbestos containing material, so when there'll be fog and the bricks they have to take out, and they have to wash them off, they have to save them, and they've got to contain and capture that water that they use to wash off, and that's got to go and they weren't quite sure whether it could go into their wastewater treatment. They aren't so sure that that might just have to be.
And you
I don't know if you can land, maybe you could, I don't know. But if you think about it, okay, you wash all these fibers off these brick, goes into, they got a lagoon system, goes into the lagoon. Well, eventually that lagoon's gonna need to be dredged.
Right.
What do they do with that dirt? It goes on some farmer's field, so he's out there working up the dirt, and all these fibers are going into the air. But anyway, that was another meeting that I had yesterday. And then we met with our new attorney. But anyway,
Who's the new attorney?
Nick Larson. Said he would do landfills work, and it's handy to have someone across town, you know, because, you know, as chair, you know, you sign all the documents and stuff, so. Anyway, that constantly busy, Steve, you know. And then, that was pretty much it. That was my
And I had homeward housing, and once again, they basically have people committed to their whole allocation of funds for this year. And starting in January, they should have new allocation of funds similar to what they had this year. So it's a little early yet, although I think if I'll try to get that information out to the public, that they can start to consider that they can be applying for, you know, some of it can be grants, some of it's loans, and of course, if they're low income, that basically is, they get a bigger piece of the pie than if they're not low income. But that was the only meeting well, then of course, again, working on the project. That's been ongoing.
Brenda explained a little bit about that to the board last night.
It's complicated.
Well, yeah.
But if it was easy, anybody could do it. So, okay, that was that.
And she did say that we all, when we run into you, we should say thank you for the amount of work you put into that project. So, I'm officially saying that.
Okay.
We should, where's the minute taker?
Oh, darn it.
Dang, I wanted that in there.
It'll be on YouTube, Joel.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Well, I know that Stan has, and you know, people don't realize the amount of work that goes behind the scenes, you know, in this county. I mean, it's just, haven't got a clue.
All right, haven't put it in the minutes.
I officially thank Stan for the amount of work that he's put in to helping Brenda on a project. But that's good.
Item B. Amy Folkert's received regular certification as Mitchell County Assessor, so noted. Congratulations, Amy, getting that done.
So you have to do this ongoing, or is this,
Yeah, they give you 18 months to complete your course of study and work hands-on with Department of Revenue.
you've got almost 18 months, don't you?
I do, that's, September 18th was the date, so.
Bring cake or anything?
I didn't think about that. If you'd like to bring some, sure.
Well, I was rather thinking of a watering hole.
I'll make them later.
That's good.
Richie should be here any minute. Why don't we go to item 6, Otranto Historic Bridge. Again, Adam, why don't you jump on up here if Richie comes away.
And he is in there.
He snuck in. Basically, again, it's estimated about 3,000 to 4,000 that would possibly cost to stabilize that thing.
Maximum of 5 is what I got out of Rich, so.
But what?
A maximum of 5,000.
Okay.
What are you gonna do to it?
What am I gonna do?
Well, what is the,
What is anybody gonna do, I guess? It would be just rip wrap and probably some concrete in there, maybe a little bit of rebar, and then I think re-tuck point the old stone.
Here he is. We just started talking about the Otranto Historic Bridge. And you feel that upwards of $5,000 can stabilize that east end?
I don't know, that was the estimate that they had gotten from PCI, considering what they're probably thinking about doing. I'm sure they're just talking about backfilling it, armoring it, which probably all it would take.
basically dumping riprap in there and pouring flowable mortar over?
Yeah, whatever, I don't know what they had intended, but I'm guessing it's probably something like that. It's a good way to stabilize it if
Yeah.
you're gonna do it. I mean, I haven't gone down into the water and looked at the limestone grouting or anything on the button itself, but if you keep, you call it tuck pointing, and I don't know if later on it would need tuck pointing to keep water from infiltrating through that or not, but I mean, that's,
Wouldn't be a bad idea, it looks like a little bit of that could be done, but I don't think you're gonna go over 5,000 if any of the departments here were at this project.
I mean, your rip wrap is gonna run you, I don't know, $40 a ton. And that's just the material. And then,
Your office gonna do that? Your guy's gonna do that?
I don't know.
I guess I just feel like we kind of owe the kid or Will Morrow, he just wants to know, is the county gonna take possession or not? Are they going to wanna help with the repairs or not?
I don't think we want to take possession, but I would entertain the idea of stabilizing it for, if that helps hold it for a number of years. At some point in time, somebody will take that bridge. I mean, I think it had,
Did we talk to Howard County on their trail?
I spoke with them, they don't have anything right now, they're still trying to piece theirs together, so. Could come up, but hasn't yet.
but as long as it's on the National Register and that, I just assume, I mean, if he's willing to let it stay in place, I'm willing, but if he wants to tear it, if we
Exactly.
stabilize it and he tears it down right away, I'm gonna
Right,
be
and-
ticked.
Yeah, we look kind of foolish then.
Yes, Mrs. Morris?
I just wanted to comment that the one county that I read about that moved a bridge, it was a 5-year effort. So I think you're wise to stabilize it, and if there's people who are interested, it would take them a while to, put everything in place to move it. So then at least you're making that possibility. But it did take the one county that did it. It took them 5 years to get the whole plan in place and do it. Those things don't happen real quickly, so I think it's sort of wise to stabilize it. That's my own opinion.
It would be a good bridge for a bike trail, I think. I mean, it's just the right width, the right height.
It could work for that.
The golf course didn't have any interest in it, or are they still,
Still
they're trying to figure their stuff out?
possibly in the works. The moving the thing is the issue. I guess
Well,
other projects that have done it have had the National Guard come in and airlift them out. That seems to be cost effective if they can work a deal like that, but like she said, that's gonna take some coordination.
And I would almost think, and I mean, I'm no engineer at all, but I'd almost think that taking that flooring off would greatly reduce the weight.
That probably would.
They reduced the weight some.
I mean, the guy from Holland, 60,000 pounds seemed to be a magic number where, he needed bigger cranes than that. And so I have no idea what,
Liking and stuff.
or was it 60 ton?
50.
60 ton, I think, not, because that had been
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
120,000 pounds, yeah, 60 ton. But,
Yeah, he must need bigger crane, another bigger cranes.
Because, yeah, it was gonna cost substantially more if you had to bring those in, that you have to put the crane together at the site and then take them apart, but, that's why I say the flooring makes you wonder if you couldn't take that flooring off and,
Yeah, it's a possibility.
So you guys aren't saying you have an interest in it at all, then?
No.
well, what would you think if we let Will know that, we would be willing to stabilize it if he's willing to leave it in place for the next
Few years?
few years? Let's put in there at least,
Well, we should it either needs to go out of there or finds a home for it, because it just can't stay there. I mean, it's not gonna be a long-term fix, it needs to stabilize, and even then, the next flood coming through could finish it off, I mean.
It's still private property, correct?
Yeah.
yep.
All right.
Yeah,
Just so you guys
that's-
are aware of that.
Yep, and that's something you should probably talk to the county attorney about, can we actually do that?
Can we actually
Stabilize
stabilize
it,
it?
it's on private property, I mean, but, you know, there's a code section, but we're not really doing anything to necessarily, help him out, but it could be, I mean, okay, then, in the end, is, who gets, are they buying this bridge, somebody, or are they, he's just donating it?
He's willing to donate it,
Well,
he just wants.
I don't think anybody's gonna pay him for it, because it's gonna cost way too much money to move, I mean.
Yeah, I don't think you'd get the money back out of it, you dismantle it and scrap it. I don't
Could it
think
be
you'd-
put on a flatbed semi? I mean, once you got it out of there, I mean, it's,
Well, the problem is turning corners. It isn't a matter of that you can't move
no,
it.
I mean, cut it in half.
You'd have to get it out of there.
And I've seen where they put these dollies under things and,
But yeah, I mean, that's what, when we were talking to Holland that night, he said, I mean, the problem is trying to turn corners, because you can't,
you almost have to.
it's
have
too
it-
long
Right.
a span in order to,
Well, we'll put it in Toterville then, straight down the road.
Bypass the town.
So, well, anyway, it's, yeah, I guess you might wanna talk to, say, Bill Morrow, is the guy, or.
Will,
Will.
Well, you know, get what he's thinking. Maybe he's thinking, I want it out of there.
I know he doesn't really want the ownership of it, but like I say, in one respect, I hate just to see it because it's on the National Register. I hate to see it just scrapped if we can maintain it. I mean, that would be a workable.
I think too, if you guys are going to pay to stabilize that, he's been talking about that 1 acre area there to the east of the bridge. It's fishing access that he's allowed us to use, and he's kinda using that as a bartering chip here. If we'll do something for him, then maybe he'll give us the title to that. So, 1 acre of land, 5,000 of repairs, sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
Yeah, that sounds like a good thing. I mean, if that's a fishing access, that's great.
So if it doesn't work, yeah, I guess I can talk to Mark, but if you can't directly fund the restoration of that bridge, maybe we could just purchase.
Well, I think if we're getting something in return, I think then that makes it a whole different,
Well, I think we can, I mean, on private property, as long as we can justify that we are getting a benefit. I mean,
Okay.
and we don't want it falling into our existing bridge, and it is fairly close there.
That
Maybe
is,
there's a way to say that, okay, or you know, we'll get the acre, we'll stabilize.
Yeah.
And it's a payment for,
Right.
I don't know the legalities of it, but it's, instead of a cash payment, it's a labor payment. And
Yeah, no, I think that's.
payment, I guess that's how somebody could look at it, I don't know.
okay. I'll talk to both of them, Mark and Will, about that.
Yeah, no, that's, I think, but yeah, we can
Mark's gone this week, so.
pull that tree out of there and start stabilizing it.
Yeah, before it rains, huh?
And it might be, I haven't been down on our right of way yet, but it might be in our best interest to do something along the edge of there too, on our right of way. We'll see what it looks like, it's all growing weeds and stuff, I can't tell for sure, but it might be that we can armor our stuff a little bit too.
Oh, that might be a good idea, yeah.
Once we get all our stuff done.
Okay, anything else on,
No,
well, we got a plan, let's see if we can make it work.
Okay.
All right, item 5, County Engineer Brown.
Morning. FEMA, FHWA. That's it. We're getting guardrails mowed up. They're still working the rock run. They're getting pretty close on that. The box culvert on Hickory. I gotta go up there after the meeting, but it's gonna be rip-rap today. I mean, it's just about done, so.
It's about done.
Yeah, I mean, think, it only took a week, so I mean, it's pretty nice that it'll be, we won't start hauling any road rock today. They may start a little bit, but it won't be completed for a couple days yet. But I almost, I hate saying it, but maybe by the end of the week it'll be open, so, I mean, that's a good thing.
yeah.
Some things are moving better than others, so. I just had a meeting with FEMA yesterday, and I don't really want to discuss that, because I'm kind of mad, so. So working on that, I'm doing more with these 2 structures that we've got closed yet with FEMA, so they're asking for more things, and now they're telling me other things they want. And they didn't ask for this prior to, and I'm kind of upset they didn't. They want me to provide them with an estimate of putting the structures back to pre-flood conditions. And I was upset and said, why would I put these structures to pre-flood conditions when they're not worth putting back to but that's how they verify, or that's how they justify the costs. They say, if it only costs you $10,000 to put this bridge back to pre-flood, that's all they'll allow us. And so I'm going to call the consultants in. They will pay for the consultant to come estimate that stuff. And we'll see. I mean, a 17-foot span wood deck bridge, I said, this does not make any sense to put this bridge back the way it was. There is no reason to say, he said, well, so that's what they need to go by for now. So we will be putting that stuff together and submitting that. I've already given them an estimate of what I think it's gonna cost to do it the way I wanna do it. They don't know that they're going to allow me to do what I want to do. And they had a FEMA mitigation specialist in, so it's all about trying to prove to them the justification, and I'd already told them the costs are justifiable, and so I did send the stuff down for hydraulic review to the DOT. There's a couple things I gotta follow up on, but you know, I don't know what to tell you. It's upsetting, but I guess we'll keep pushing through it. Sooner or later they'll get done. I mean, the ones laying in the water, and they say, well, they asked me, is the deck of the bridge that's in the water, is that damaged? And I kind of laughed and said, well, I don't have scuba gear, so I don't really know what it looks like in the water. I mean, what kind of question is that? And then they said, you know, I asked them, they said, well, you gotta pull the deck out of the water. I said, yep, but I don't know if they have to dismantle it first because it's kind of heavy. And they said, well, isn't that the way it was put on? I said, no, they come in section. I mean, the people they brought, they were mitigation specialists, but it seems like each one they brought in is specialized in something else other than what I need. But, well,
They're not structural engineers.
well, it's, I was talking hydraulics with the engineer they brought. You know, they had brought an Army Corps engineer in, and now they brought a FEMA engineer in, and he wasn't even a specialist in hydraulics. I mean, I'm not either, but I at least got an idea what I'm doing, and so does he. But, I mean, if they're concerned about what I'm trying to do, it would almost make sense that they would bring some specialist in to tell me, you know, instead of somebody that's working on buildings.
Sounds like there's been an awful lot of time on,
So I'm gonna submit the stuff that they need submitted, and hopefully I can get it this week. We got some training to do on Thursday down in Fayette. They've got some training for electronic submittals of all this stuff now. You know, midstream now we're gonna learn how to do this electronically on the computer. So I'm going down for sure. I think I'm gonna try to get Jim to go down said he can help, and I've got one in Worth County we'll go to, but it's just a ticket nightmare, so, but we're, like I said, we're blading, we're mowing, we're rocking, got the AMZ machine out. That's where we're at, maintenance. We do have grout scouts in there lining those twin pipe over by McIntyre. We had put some extensions on last year to extend them out of the right of way, kind of prepping for the paving, and now we're lining them, because we extended them, they were starting to show a belly in there, and I didn't want to pull out the whole road and we figured lining them, we could do that more cost effective than pulling them out, so they're working that now, and actually, according to what they tell us, these are the first 2 pipe of that diameter, at least in the country, that have been lined. So, we're pioneering something, I guess. Anything for me?
Get our pipe?
Nope, not yet. I had to get more quotes because they keep going through them like crazy. So, I asked for a dollar figure, and I've got some 9-footers now. So. They keep
Don't
making
take you
them.
long to fix anything once you get them, okay, go ahead, doesn't
I
it?
know it. They say, why don't you put box covers? Because box covers need to be made. I can get these pipe, I can make a phone call, and as long as nobody takes them before I get to them, they can be here in a week. They don't have to be made, they're already made. You drop them in a hole and you're done. I don't understand but it's federal dollars, it's government money, it's.
How long ago did the county start doing?
Well, and that's the thing they've been bringing up, is they've been bringing up, is this a county policy? I said, a policy for what? A policy to put pipe in the ground. I said, it's been a standard practice for years. We don't have any writing saying this is what we're doing. And I didn't think we needed to have a policy to tell us how we were taking little bridges out and putting pipe in. It's
Right.
just standard practice. Well, you got more than 2 of these, right? Yeah, we've got a dozen or more. Well, then I guess it is standard practice. Well, that's what I've been telling you. So I
They take them out, show them,
yeah, I showed them one.
what they say?
Looks like a pretty good idea.
They take a picture?
So,
So they're
anyway,
probably over some other county who wants to put box culverts in, they're probably trying to get them to put the pipes in. It's frustrating.
it is, and I know the public's frustrated,
Right.
so we're all in this frustration boat together then.
Well, did they indicate that you'd be able to get these things fixed before winter?
And they didn't give me any indication of anything. Next time it'll be asked for forgiveness instead of for permission, I can tell you that.
How about the roads? Can you patch the roads?
Yeah,
When's that guy coming?
they got the quote in, Hartland's gonna be coming in, I don't have a time yet, and the painter should be starting here soon too, so.
Is Heartland gonna do the one at Stillwater then? Gonna do that asphalt? Are we gonna put back concrete sometime?
Stillwater? Oh, yeah, we will, we're putting temporary down and then. next
Temporary
year-
asphalt?
It'll be temporary asphalt
Maybe
and
next
Stillwater.
summer
I was thinking line kiln. you were
I
saying.
know.
Okay, yeah, that's all temporary. I'm sure, we didn't talk to FEMA about it, of course, you couldn't get an answer out of FEMA. Anyway, we're gonna do that, and then when we get a contract together for, I think, federal highway for the ER projects, we can pull in and do all this. I think we'll have to do separate projects for ER funding versus FEMA funding, and it'll be a good way to separate, but I have a feeling that the projects will be bid and the same contractor get the work. And then we'll push it through from there, but yes, Stillwater will be asphalt for the winter. Because there are a few panels that probably need to be taken out, just adjacent to the rock, because we didn't take everything out, we just were putting back what we could put in just to get it open again. So there's a few panels, and I'm still debating on whether to take the other half of the road out and make it a consistent thickness for that stretch of road versus having a 4-inch overlay and a 6-inch concrete pad, because you can't dowel into the adjacent panels very well, but if you run it across the road, it might be a better fit. So, all stuff we can plan for this winter. I expect to hear back from PNR and Army Corps in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
I had an email from an individual that thought it was gonna be possible to do something there. So, now it's a matter of how we write the work order to get the job done. And, I know FEMA's concern is entering a private property, but there might be a way around that too, just by, I mean, we'll still need to get permission to enter private property to do the work. But if we word it properly, we can tell the contractor that the contractor provides the material for the Gabion baskets, and we don't care where they get it. Right, so there is some good material in that channel that can be used in the baskets, which reduces their haul and kills two birds with one stone.
Green, recycle.
You know, where else are you gonna put it?
What else you gonna do with it?
Okay, I guess I don't have anything.
I'm gonna go get some more gray hair.
Right there, you need hair.
Well, it'll fall out.
Sap all now.
You bet.
I've been called that a long time.
Okay.
Funny,
And then
funny,
I talked to
funny.
Marcia, and she said, they need to in that conference room, but I don't know who it is that's coming, but
I can call the first guys, but let her know. Okay.
Well, as long as Sheila's here, let's go back into session. 9:25.
Nice and quiet in here this morning.
Oh, the rowdies were kicked out.
Oh.
Thank
I'm
you.
gone.
You didn't mean that as a compliment, did you, Stan? I'll take it as a compliment.
Funny. Okay. Couple things. First off, the letter on the front of your sheet, that is to the CCMS board chair, Jeff Willie. And I shared with you guys a few months ago these changes in case management reimbursement. Medicaid, DHS has changed the reimbursement from 100% of the cost to 23% administrative cost of the total direct care cost, which is kind of confusing. Anyway, I'll go into that more when we do the cost report. Anyway, our rate that we pay CCMS is part of the administrative cost. And it's like about $7,000 a year. It goes by the caseload size. And what they provide us for that is our technical assistance. We have somebody come 2 or 3 times a year. They review our files, give us recommendations on it. And there's different trainings that we can attend. They have case management trainings, case management administrator trainings. They have a summer conference. Now, a summer conference, anybody can attend. If you're not a member, you just pay a little bit more, but the other trainings are strictly for CCMS members. With our regional group, we meet every month or so with the case management people, and we've been talking about this with CCMS, what we truly do get for that $7,000. Other counties, some pay more, some pay less. And really questioning whether or not we do need that, being it's may not be reimbursable, because right now we are over that 23% administrative, probably about $30,000 over. So it, you know, I haven't hired back a secretary. We're cutting back with Marcia's hours in the Osage office. I'm hoping through some of those things we can get below that 23% administrative. But this letter is very well written, and there's several agencies in the state that are sending this letter very similar to CCMS, which is a part of ISAC. And what it kind of states in there, it's the fact that with all these changes for the indirect expenses administrative, and being counties can't afford to pick up that remainder, that we're asking either CCMS to change the way they do things, to whatever, provide a different kind of service, but to get together with counties to try to develop a way to, hopefully they prevent them from going under and not having their CCMS anymore, because I'm sure the majority of case management agencies in the state are gonna be asking to get out of that agreement. And they have to have notice by November 1st for this to go into effect for July 1 of next year. So I just wanted to get the letter sent out to be sure we've at least met that deadline. It doesn't mean that if things get changed and all that, we can't enter into another one. But if we don't have this in by November 1st, then we can't for sure. And I didn't want to put it off and wait till the very last hour. So I guess I'm just asking, you know, you to agree with this right now, and then, when we get together with the 2080, if everyone agrees, then if Dan could sign it, but if you want to take time to read the letter, you'll go ahead and if you have any questions, ask me. Megan and I both volunteer to do surveys across the state with the DHS surveyors, have a very good relationship with them. And the last survey, we were 97% out of 100. On the survey, we had one minor deficiency, so, and 3 years ago, we had 0. So I don't really see any problem with not having a technical assistant come to review the files. Those are things that Megan and I do periodically, try to every 3 years at least get through every file to review it. So, and we have a very good staff, we're fortunate for that, so. And for the training piece, again, as I said, for the region, you already talked about getting together with some of the people at DHS periodically if we need to, if we aren't a member of CCMS. So, I don't see any problem.
Consensus right now to,
Yeah,
okay,
Okay, any more questions on that then?
no.
Okay, we can go to the cost report then. This is the actual cost report. And, so the main things I suppose that you would be interested in are the number of units that we provided. We provided 4,348 units in the last year, and those are 15-minute units. We only bill for face-to-face contacts with the client, or collateral contacts with the client, or a provider, or a guardian, or something like that, so. We used to have lots more units when we billed for various things, but this is all we have to bill for instead of having these managers doing all the paperwork to track, we opted to do this, and a lot of agencies do it this way as well. So if you go back, the kind of the meat of it then is the expense report, the Schedule D. And that shows you all the cost that we had incurred throughout the year. There's a few areas I probably will have to tweak prior to sending it. When I got looking further at our equipment cost, there were some things that I needed to add in here. Because some things are depreciated, some things are not depreciated. And I didn't have all the monthly reports to go through to see, and I have them on my desk, but I just haven't had time to go through them. But I wanted to get this done, I have to email it, and it's due by the 30th. And so I'll get that emailed into to DHS by the end of the week.
the equipment costs would probably be computers or whatever, or.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. And if it's under $500, I don't depreciate them. If it's over 500, I do. We had two, a desktop and another laptop. One of them was just barely over, so. So yeah, so it came out to where with the indirect costs, then our total expenditures for the year were $453,288. And then with the units, 4348, it came out to 104.25 a unit. Now you notice on the mileage, we only get reimbursed 39 cents per mile. And that's one other factor too, is I just finished this up Sunday night at home. I didn't have all the monthly reports with me. But I think that's probably gonna be a little bit more in the adjusted cost, because all I had with me was just the number of miles that we had traveled, and it was 15,000 something for the year. So I multiplied that by the 39, that's what I came up with, but I'm pretty sure there's more cost in there that we can get reimbursed, so. So this number's probably, it usually changes anyway. Once they get it, the cost out of unit, they'll have questions and have things are taken away, so. So what I was gonna also mention, I was at the Chickasaw board yesterday, we were talking about it, and looking at it, you know, for the administrative costs and direct costs, the 23% and all that, how it would have looked with this report. And with this report, it looks as if it would have been maybe about $10,000 that we would have been over, which I was very happy with. I thought it would have been more than that. So hopefully it's not gonna affect us a whole lot this next year. And once I have my first quarter of expenses in, which the glass claims is this week, then I'm going to get all that information together and I'll share it with you where we're sitting at that. So if I have to make any other drastic changes, I'll get those done as soon as I can. So that's kind of it.
Okay.
And Shannon knows about these, you probably have done it before, haven't you? To do the cost report? Yep. That's it, so I guess if you wanna call, I don't know if Chickasaw be ready yet, though, probably not.
Yeah, we can wait 10 minutes. And
I'm not sure what the schedule was. Well, while we're waiting, I'll just kinda, I will share some more things. I don't know, I haven't brought Matt Steven, have I shared with you that we have an intern from UNI? Matt Steven is his name, he's a young man from New Hampton. He's a senior at UNI going for a social work degree. He has 440 hours he has to do. He's doing this for about 3 weeks, and just doing a real nice job.
See the fellow that came along with you?
Yes,
All right.
yeah, to the county social
Yeah, he
services,
seems like
yeah.
a really nice fellow.
Yeah, there was actually one day when all of us were out of the office, and there was a situation that went on where we needed to have somebody kind of meet with the client, so Matt did. You know, he kind of directed him on questions, this and that and the other, and he did a real nice job. So, yeah.
Beat to the fire right away.
I know, that's exactly, what a great way to learn,
Yeah.
you know. So, yeah, so he's been going around, you know, meeting with different clients, and I met with several, and now today he was supposed to be in Osage, but he's sick.
Oh,
He's going with the Osage girls too, they're kind of getting all those things arranged, so. So that's been nice, he's done a real good job. What else I had here? Oh yeah, it's something else we have been talking about in our region with the other case management agencies, with these changes, with these indirect costs, administrative only being able to be 23%. There are several agencies, Saragordo County had like $60,000 over, and other counties several thousand, whatever. So we've been talking about, there's like seven of us counties who have been talking about the combining for administrative and cost reporting, to help cut those administrative costs. In Howard County, Allen McKee County, Fayette County, Grundy, Tama, and then if it be R2, it would be 7 counties right now. And it would be similar to what the 2080 is, only each employee would stay the employee of their county, all that would remain the same, and it would just be the administrative part would be shared then. So it would be the one cost report, the one rate, and that kind of stuff, which would help save quite a bit. As I told you, Marcia does most of the case management billing. I do the cost report, but she does do the billing for us. And with our new electronic system with TheraUp, that will be able to be done through TheraUp. And I won't need Marcia, so I plan to cut back. Right now, we're paying 16 hours for her. I plan October 1st to cut back to 8 hours, and then January 1st to not use her. But we'll see where everything is financially. If I can get by without her. Then I feel I need to cut that down. So anyway, with the one, if we would go together, you know, as a group and just have the one person, one agency do it, then we wouldn't need Marcia to do the billing anyway. So just something that we've been talking about, I wanted to share that with all of you. And Chickasaw's kind of concerned, they feel with the regionalization, you know, some of the counties are still struggling with all that stuff, the coming together, and they're concerned if we would do that with 7 of us, is there gonna be a problem? And that's just something that we would have to address. Like I told them, I think if they would just remain the employees of their own county, I think that would take care of a lot of that, you know. But just something I wanted to let you know that we have been discussing, and some are real anxious to get going and get together just because of all these costs, you know, to help some cost containment and all that.
So then you would just have one administrator?
Well, that's what we talked about, yeah.
Okay. So then the current administrators would become case managers, or would
Well,
they?
probably do the supervisors, be the supervisory person of it, which a lot of them do anyway,
Right.
you know. Mhm.
Okay.
So,
it's kind
yeah,
of the way CSS set up, you know, everybody, they all stayed there,
yeah,
you know, Joey's Saragordo and
yeah.
what's her name is Blackhawk and
Karen is,
Karen
yeah,
Blackhawk and Bob is
Mhm.
Floyd. And
yeah, right, right.
we did talk about, you know, having become employees of the 2080, but nobody thought that was a good idea because, well, for one thing, they didn't know how long the 2080 would even, they didn't know where it mental health is going,
Right,
but,
right,
and I guess it works, you know.
yeah. Well, and with this whole Medicaid thing for case management, I've always said that how they have done it to allow agencies, and you're always reimbursed 100% of your costs. You know, so you could go out and get a Cadillac for your car and you get reimbursed it. You know, so there should be some cost containment, and that's where this is coming down from. Because they've grown, it's been like they said, 10%, 12% has increased the last 2 years. We haven't increased that much, but I think a lot of it's in how you do your units. Like I said, you know, we just use those 3 main things. Some agencies use paperwork and everything. They may be like $10 a unit, but they're, every minute of the day practically is billable. Where for us, it's not that way. So it's just really not apples to apples, you know, when you compare the rates across the state. But I definitely agree with some cost containment. I think that definitely is necessary. And there's a work group that is meeting a few times, and they are going over the rate setting methodology, how to do this, and if there's more things that should be included or not. So we'll know more for next year's. But presently, starting July 1st, we are capped at the 23% administrative cost of the direct cost. And found that out about like the last week in June. In
That was
fact,
nice of them.
I know, in fact, I printed out the letter, I should have brought a copy for you, I can email it to you if you'd like, but we actually got a letter from DHS August 1st, officially telling us that this was in effect August 1st. So, but we had all heard at the end of June,
So what do they consider that then, all your employees?
but no, all the employees' wages are direct costs, oh, sorry, okay, so administrative. The part
Because
of
I
mine,
know
that's administrative,
Because on CSS, it's only like 3 or 4% of the administrative.
yeah, and see for that,
So what are they considering administrative? That's 23%.
but they are,
of that.
everything except, it's easier to say what's not administrative.
Okay, all right.
What's not administrative would be the case manager's salaries. And I had broken mine down, I always had all of mine just completely in administrative. And I do, I mean, I talked to a couple of clients this morning, talked to case managers about clients, do supervisor stuff and all that. So that actually can be counted as direct time. So I switched my time around to where less of mine is administrative. So that portion of mine, Megan as a supervisory, and then for her case management is considered direct. There's other direct, we have these other assessments that somebody else does, that's considered a direct cost. And then all the benefits, the payroll taxes, and the professional fees of all the staff that are direct. So I had to break out, like the clerical is not, that's administrative, the clerical is administrative. So I have to break out all of those taxes when I do my next cost report and exclude them. It's just really complicated. But, and then mileage. Mileage is counted as direct. But the rest of it's administrative, everything else.
Do we meet Friday as a canvassing board or
It's Tuesday.
next Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yeah,
So
so
do we
the,
have to certify the election before we swear somebody in, or how does that?
Probably should really do that first.
Certify the election, okay.
I was thinking about that. Do that first thing.
Certify the election.
Mhm.
Yeah, we could do that.
I don't know if you want to move up the start of the meeting, 8:15 to do that.
Doesn't matter to me.
Okay. It won't take long.
You got a phone number?
yeah, I'll give it to you,
Oh.
we'll call the auditor's office, they can put it through. When you're ready, I'll
Yep.
rattle it off to you.
What matters is the official name.
You know, it's
I'll sign mine. Okay.
I keep those rules straight.
You gotta keep them straight, you can't
319?
be serious.
641 394
2100.
2100. So yeah, so it's just the approval of this letter then, and then the cost report. And then I'll need to have you.
copies of the monthly ledgers to everybody.
Saying
Oh,
that
good.
filing of taxes, this house just ringing. Yeah, good morning, this is Mitchell County. We're got a joint meeting with Chickasaw County Board, so could you patch us through? Okay.
First down one. Number Minneapolis, $7.50, a penny up 1 3/4. 5 is either cattle or higher, and still over the pond.
Supposed to be the
The live, 737,
highest
120.
goes.
December's 35 higher, 130.85. September fears are up 5, 157.61. Sheila?
Good morning.
Good morning. Just a minute. I'm going to put you on speakerphone. Hopefully it'll be a little louder on speakerphone because I can hardly hear you on the receiver.
I'm way at the end, that's probably why.
Why? I don't believe that. I thought you moved up in the world.
Yeah. I get moved up, I get knocked down, I get.
Welcome to the real world. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Just barely speak.
Tell them to hear the phone.
Yeah, on this end, Stan Walk here, Chair Joel Voigtlander, we have Lowell Tesh, Auditor, and Sheila, and 3 members of the public. Next week, we should have a full complement of a board.
Okay. On this end, we have myself, Chris Volkhouse, the chair, Supervisors John Anderson, Jason Burke, Steve Gertz, Tim Zoll, Deputy Auditor, Donnie Gertz, and Brittany from the press, media.
Okay, so,
Basically, the first item is approval of the TCM actual cost report.
yeah. And this is something I reviewed with Chickasaw yesterday and Mitchell this morning. And I guess the main reminder is probably gonna be a couple little tweaks to it because some of the figures I didn't have with me when I finished it up Sunday night. But the main thing is, you know, for the number of units and when you sign the certification page, it's just approving, yes, that all the information that's going to be submitted is what's been reported to me and this and that. Often when it's sent to cost audit report, they usually, we have to make some changes anyway, but if anybody has any questions,
Sheila did a nice job presenting this to us yesterday. We had some pretty good lengthy discussion. I'll ask my board on this end if they had any questions that came up over the line.
We can't hear that.
Okay, John Anderson's question was directed towards Sheila. You guys have the same report that she presented to us yesterday.
yes.
All right. And we have no questions on this end regarding the report Sheila went over with us yesterday.
And we have none, so entertain a motion.
I have a motion on this end by John Anderson.
Okay, I'd second that motion. Joel Voigtlander on Mitchell County side.
Okay, I'll do a roll call vote on this side, Dan.
Okay?
Jason, Steve, Ken, and myself. All eyes on this end.
Voigtlander?
Aye.
Walk, aye. Motion carried on this end. Then the 28E Joint Chickasaw Mitchell Targeted Case Management Board Conference call. Well, no, that's, I'm sorry, wrong line. Authorized chair to sign letter of CCMS requesting leave of services effective July 1, 2014. We read the letter here. No problem.
I'd make a motion to allow the chair in Mitchell County to sign that letter.
And I have a second on this end by Jason.
Further discussion?
If I can just add something like I shared yesterday and today, just a reminder that if for some reason some things should change, we could always, you know, either rescind it or sign a new agreement with them. I definitely want to keep that open in case some things can change. But given the current funding repayment and all that, I feel that financially we need to do this at this time.
Here again, yesterday when Sheila presented it to this board, we had some pretty good lengthy discussion on that, some good thoughts and comments made. Has this point, I believe we'll find out in a roll call vote whether, at a consensus of the board to agree with that signature.
We have no further discussion here. Do you want a roll call on your end?
I'll do that, Stan. John? Jason? Tim? Steve? And myself. All eyes on this end, Stan.
And Volklander?
Aye.
Walk, aye. All ayes on this end. Is there anything else for the good of the cause?
I have nothing on this end.
Okay, and just another little thing, just in regards to the conversation we had yesterday about the consolidation of several agencies, and I talked about it with the board here as well, and I just said there are several counties that are looking at this, so I just wanted to let you know, and I'll certainly keep you updated on that.
Okay, that sounds fair enough.
Motion to adjourn?
Did you have a motion made on that end?
Yes, I made the motion. Oakland.
Volklander will.
Joel, you and Stan sound so much alike.
I know.
I've got a
Well-
second on this end by John.
Well, Joel doesn't have as much hair, so we don't look alike.
Or is, but
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 and we got all eyes on this end.
Okay, we're adjourned. Have a good week.
Yeah, you guys too. Good luck on your election.
Okay, you bet.
Thanks.
You bet.
So
Okay.
there's the two things then, Stan. That's
All
the
right.
letter for CCMS.
All right, you bet. And is there anything else for the good of the cause here?
Gosh, you're gonna be done, wow. Sort of a
We're
banker.
starting to take notes from Sarah Gordo how to move these things along. We'll never catch up to them in 15-minute meetings, but
That's what they have, Sarah Gordo?
12 to 15. 20 minutes is a long meeting.
No way.
Yes,
How often do they meet?
once a week.
But they
Well,
got,
you better do something then.
they got an administrator, or assistant to the board that does all the legwork and everything.
But still,
Yeah.
And then they all, if you ever been over there,
I just been in the courthouse, not to one of their
then they have
meetings.
their supervisor's office where the administrative assistant is also, and so it's, you know, they're all, I think they all stop in every morning and, you know, hash everything over before the meeting, but I shouldn't say that.
No, yeah, no.
Maybe they just all talk to the administrative assistant.
Yeah,
Separately.
she's, Michelle is her name, and she's the clerk right over here.
Ah,
Very
Okay.
energetic and, you know, I mean, she gets everything done for them and, you know, which is helpful.
Wow, yeah.
But you would think there'd be a little discussion on some things that.
I know. Heck, this took I took up 15, 20 minutes. They're lucky they ever got me for an employee.
Well, yeah, we're kinda getting the hang of it now.
If we had you here longer, we'd get an 8-timer.
I know.
3 minutes, go.
Kind of Fox gift to Gab, I think. I don't know.
Oh, I imagine they do have the discussion at their meetings, but, you know, I don't
But it
think.
shows up though in the paper as 15 minutes. I
Yeah,
mean,
but I mean, it's,
Wow.
they probably go right down the line, they,
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. And if they've gone over everything and, yeah.
and maybe nobody
their
comes to
assistant
their
says-
meeting that much. I mean, you know, because there's nobody to ask a question, and all their
Yeah.
questions have been answered
Yeah.
through their assistant. Well, yeah, it's easy, you know,
Yeah. Wow. Well, just get an assistant.
because now when I look at the agenda, well, you got a question, you start, you know,
Yeah.
asking people, what's this all about? And
Right,
whereas she would do all that,
Right.
and probably give them all a summary of what,
right.
so, I don't know, maybe that's my only thinking is how they get by doing it so quickly. Because now like Chickasaw don't